In just 4 days, on September 1st, Kansans and visitors will be able to place their bets on their favorite sports teams. It's a process that is a long time coming, and analysts say it's coming online just in time.
Because that's really the key, is getting the wagers available to make wagers, I should say, by week 1 of the NFL season. We all understand the amount of opportunity that's there for the casinos, but also for sports fans. NFL is king.
Soon you'll be able to set foot in one of these 4 state-partnered casinos and make a wager, including the Hollywood Casino at the Kansas Speedway, which launches its gaming Thursday at noon. A week later comes the full launch statewide. Let's get to the heart of the matter with Stephen Durrell, Executive Director of the Kansas Lottery. Stephen, thanks so much for coming on today ahead of this new chapter of gaming in Kansas. And this is kind of the soft launch. It becomes official September 1st, but you're going to be rolling this out.
Absolutely. It is a soft launch to allow folks to get the chance to understand how sports wagering is going to work in the state, allow our casino partners and their platforms to smooth out any of the rough edges that may occur just with any opening, and just give folks a chance to learn and enjoy the process.
What do Kansas and visitors need to know about how to go about doing this?
Well, it's like any other application. They find the application that they want, or multiple applications that they want, and then as they go through the process, the platform itself will teach them a little bit about how sports wagering works for those who really don't know. And then as we get further into the process, there'll be more and more information distributed about what kinds of games they can wager on, what kind of leagues. There'll be what they call a sporting catalog or library that will list out all of the things worldwide that people can place wagers on. And let me tell you, there are just a vast variety of things that people can place bets on that I had no idea were even sports in some parts of the world.
They'll find ways to put money down.
Absolutely,
sure.
It'll be a fun thing for a lot of people to learn about.
Yeah, Kansas Lottery was in the headlines a couple of weeks ago because we know the state attorney general Derek Schmidt had kind of flagged what he called shortcomings in the plan, said that the lottery needed to remedy those. What were those items, and are those all taken care of now?
Well, that's a standard practice between any sort of state agency and the attorney general's office. When there are regulations that we create for purposes of games and other things, we send them over to them for legal review, and then they stamp them once they're approved, and we get them back. In our case, we send all of our rules and regs to the Attorney General's office for review. A lot of times there's a back and forth with them about how definitions work or how certain things work in this particular industry. And so that's what this was. It was just a standard operating procedure, kind of a business as usual thing with the AG's office. And I'm happy to announce that as of Tuesday evening this last week, we got everything back, and everything that we submitted to them from the lottery at least is approved.
All right. Supporters of sports betting predict this is going to bring in millions of dollars of revenue into the state of Kansas. What's interesting to me is when you look at the law, I think it's some 80% of net sports betting revenue goes to the lottery and the fund attracting sports teams to Kansas. I know the Chiefs were making a lot of headlines. That could be a hard sell. What happens to the money in the meantime, and at one point does it go somewhere else?
Well, the distribution of sports wagering revenue is kind of interesting. It's most of the revenue, most of the money that in sports wagering goes back to the players. So we're only talking about a very small percentage that gets held over. So about $750,000 of the state's money first goes to a white-collar crime unit that was specifically created in the bill to make sure that illegal platforms that are trying to take wagers in the state are not allowed to do so. And then 2% after that goes to the Problem Gaming and Addictions Fund, which already exists and that the casinos pay money into to help folks that may have gambling or other issues. And then after that, 18% goes into, I think it's the Expanded Lottery Revenue Fund or something like that. And then, but most of that just goes in the state general fund. Okay. And then that remaining percentage goes into what's known as to attract outside professional sports teams to the state, whether it would be the Chiefs or an NBA team or NHL team or something of that nature. So that's where the money goes. It just basically sits there until the legislature decides to do with it what they will, whether they want to add other money to it from other revenue sources. We'll see, but it's a brand new sort of prospect for them. We'll see what they end up doing with it. It's all up to them.
And we'll be watching too. Stephen Durrell with Kansas Lottery, thank you so much for your time.